a filmmaking term, Deus ex machina, which is the God in the machine. For anyone who doesn't know that term, this is when something in a film will be happening where they're moving to the end plot and they're going to fight, let's say they're going to fight the big bad. And I'll just give an actual example. If anyone's ever seen the anime Slayers, this is not really spoilers. It's an old anime. I really like it. It's really well animated at times. They are trying to defeat the big bad villain, trying to build up power, trying to team up to beat the big bad villain. They can't. They fail. And I think it's like the before last episode, they kind of retreat back to lick their wounds and regroup. And suddenly they hear about this magical sword that's in this tree just next door that can defeat any evil. And it's just there. And it was always there, and now it's, let's pick it up and fight him. And then they win. And it felt so weird because at no point was this built up to. It just happened. It just, oh, and here's a sword. We win. Hey. Yeah, exactly. How convenient. Just the tree next door. Let's go check it out. That would be an example of Deus ex machina, where the God in the machine, the God in the story, basically just goes, here's the solution. Yay. And we found the solution. Versus the characters building up to it. I'm not a huge fan of that. It can be done well. And sometimes it can be done to very comedic effects. But in most stories, especially if you want to care for the characters, that takes away from it. We want to see the personal journey of the characters, how they evolve to solve the issue. So yeah, it's something that I really like about, let's kind of bring it back to Arcane. What I really like about Arcane was that everything built and felt like there was a reason for where they were going and a natural progression, and things just didn't happen for the sake of happening. They put hints beforehand that led us to these moments. So it felt rewarding to watch it. Spider-Verse was similar. Again, no spoilers because I know Spider-Verse and V. Yeah, Spider-Verse does that as well too. Spider-Verse did that as well, where they would put hints at the beginning of how the characters interacted with each other, what they did, how they moved even, that would later on pay off in a way that made sense. Where it's like, oh, that's why the character's doing this. It just didn't come out of nowhere. Oh, that's why they got that power. It didn't just come out of nowhere. It made sense. So putting that extra work in is really cool. Amphibia does that really well. What other shows recently have done that really well? Amphibia. I'm blanking on shows now. We just named a whole bunch. A lot of the recent Pixar films do that really well. Coco. That was one that did it amazingly well, where they sprinkled little hints of things and then it all wrapped up together, and the beginning mirrored the end in this beautiful way. It was wonderful. So, yeah. Avoiding that Deus Ex Machina can be huge. And it's even something kind of going to the animation side of things, and especially for anyone here who's a student at Animation Mentor, and honestly, any animation student, when you're doing your own shots for a demo reel or for your assignments, it can be fun to add these random little things that happen in a shot, specifically for comedic effect, where a character is going to be doing something and then randomly something flies on screen and hits them in the head and they fail, or something like that. And that's fun for comedic effect. The problem is that it takes away from the overall story that you're telling, even in a short little assignment. So something I usually challenge my students to do when they are thinking of ideas, and it's not that you have to do it, just challenge yourself to think about it. Try to tell a story that has a payoff, that you can hint at a little something early on that will then make sense later. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be, for example, let's say a character is maybe, let's say this, they're maybe a janitor. We see that a lot on different assignments. And they're sweeping, and instead of just sweeping we had a little bit more character in there. Maybe they're tired, and there's just that kind of like they're sweeping, and their sweeping is slowing down each time, and they're starting to doze off. So we get, oh, they're tired. Maybe they've been working a long time. What's going on with them? And then you get the bell that rings, the workday is over, and they like wake up, and this would be more for a pantomime shot. They wake up and go, oh, and rush over to clock out before landing on the bus before it drives away. Maybe they were rushing to the bus, so you have a little bit of a physicality assignment, and they land in the seat, and oh, they're relaxed. That relaxation at the end is much more earned if we see that they had a long workday and that they were tired, versus if they're big and full of energy and not tired at all, and then they go and they sit down and relax. Why are they relaxing? They were full of energy. Now it's just not connected in any way. So that's a very like basic version of that, but it's a way of tying elements together. Try to give hints of why your character is doing something and how the story will either pay off for them and they will succeed in what they want, or maybe they will fail. Maybe this character instead, they're tired and then they go and they have to work a double shift, and then they have to go back to work and start over again. that actually made me think back on baking days, just starting over everything over and over again. But it helps to give a little bit more story